It's always a great match here at the HGC when Dignitas and Fnatic match up, and so far the series has been delivering. It's a 1-1 between our two teams, and we're getting ready for game number 3.
Yeah, we had a bit of a slow... In terms of fights, it wasn't really the fastest and most explosive series just yet, but just from a learning perspective and how the teams are currently operating the maps, it was absolutely fantastic. I love that. The strategy is extremely crisp on both sides, but of course we're heading into map 3 now, and we currently have a tie.
The best part is both game 1 and game number 2, you can see the team that had the advantage and how they kept that advantage and kept pushing with it. Lots to learn there, so make sure you check out the VODs. Going into game number 3, let's figure out our battleground here, as we are going into Infernal Shrines, and this will be chosen by Fnatic, as Dignitas has elected to go with first pick.
Dignitas with the first pick, Fnatic with the map choice, Infernal Shrines will be the map, and we are going to see one of the two teams pull ahead here. I'm excited for it. I want to see which team is going to get the upper hand. There's a lot of things that you can do on Infernal Shrines. We've been talking about it yesterday. A lot of opportunities for you to maybe let the first and the second Immortal go to your, or the Punisher go to your opponent while you are trying to get value on the lane instead. So we could once again see that global play that we have seen from Fnatic, maybe again with an early Dehaka pick.
What excites me too is there's of course the whole Greymanes, the Dahakas, the clearing out the shrine phases that is pretty strong on this map, but both of these teams have been showing in the past they're willing to pick up the Sylvanas if they think it works out on this battleground. So although we probably won't see it with this matchup being so fiercely competitive, it wouldn't be too crazy for me to actually see a Sylvanas come in for that 5th pick out of nowhere.
A couple of odd picks would be pretty cool. Not sure if Sylvanas is going to be the one, but
I love Sylvanas.
Definitely going to find out. And yeah, let's see. I mean, I'm really excited to see what exactly is going to happen here right now, because so far this series was awesome. We had 2 very close calls, and immediately Medivh gets banned. Dignitas just saying, okay, that guy is just cheating. Let's get Medivh out of the way. It was pretty impactful in the last game. Shrimpy did so much. You mentioned the Leyline Seal, but just the plays around Vision and the portal rotations alone, that was just, I mean, it was insane.
Just gifting his teammates knowledge, man. Basically Santa Claus. Dehaka comes in. Will be the first pick here for the team, Dignitas.
And taking away from Fnatic, extending the map, of course. Once again, we have that global. And yeah, Fnatic now. Do we see Uther as one of the early picks? Will they prioritize Rhaegar, since he, of course, helps a lot with the objective on the map here, too. And one hero that I'm also excited about, we are probably going to see that a bit later in the draft. What's going to be the solo laner? Are they, for example, now that Dehaka is gone, opting into Leoric for Wubby and play their Royal Focus build again?
Royal Focus build. We haven't seen that in a long time, but still enjoy it. It's good on this battleground.
Do you see that a lot?
Yeah, we saw it a few times at the Western Clash. Sorry, I was thinking about if Genji would be the pickup. I remember talking to Shrimpy slightly a little bit at the Western Clash, and he was mentioning that there are certain maps that he feels like he's still strong on, despite the nerfs that he had. And he mentioned Infernal Shrines being one of those. And I'm hoping maybe we can get some Genji from him, because it's always fun to watch him on that hero. A new Brat Greymane, though, will be the first pickup. We've always talked about the strength for both these heroes, being able to control the Shrine phase, holding down the corridors, clearing out the waves, so not a bad pickup for Fnatic. Now, Dignitas, what do they want to bolster out their roster with?
It leaves Uther open again, but also Rhaegar. So we have seen Uther fall a little bit in priority. We pointed that out during the last draft, that especially in the Eastern scene, when we look at the Korean teams, that has been a trend. But right now, Dignitas still has the option to go for any of the 2 heroes. If they want, for example, to go for Genji again and force team fights over focusing the objective, then Uther would also be a good choice here. But they really have to think about how well they can go for the shrines. And they actually go for Uther, but they combo him off with Vala now this game, since that will allow them to go into multi-shot build and just force down those minions a little bit faster when it comes to a potential race.
Do you remember a few weeks ago when Vala was nowhere to be seen, and now she seems to be in almost every single game?
Yeah, I like it.
I love it, man. Vala coming back. It looks like once again in Europe.
At the beginning of Part 1, Phase 2, when Vala all of a sudden started to drop quite a bit, and of course we had the double support phase just after the mid-season brawl, where it was all about Vala, but then once the regular season started, all of a sudden she dropped off heavily.
Yeah.
Now she's coming back. Especially on Infernal Shrines, it was quite interesting to see that she basically didn't make an appearance here whatsoever, and now teams are focusing on her way more. Of course, it helps a lot also with the shrine clear, but overall the hero is just absolutely fantastic. Vala, I feel, is in an incredibly good spot overall and has been for a long time.
Lenara being the second possible ban here for Dignitas. Even with the Ariel being banned out, they fear that she may come into play for Fnatic, which again, with it being Quacknix and crew. Possible.
Now, this is one of those things where it pays off for Fnatic that they have a certain overlap in the hero pool. Since normally when you look at them and you see Greymane, your immediate thought is, okay, Quacknix is going to play the Wolf. But Quacknix is also the player that normally plays Lunara, so this is something where it really helps that they have with Shrimpy someone that is flexible enough that he can also play Greymane at a very high level, which would then allow Quacknix to jump on Lunara. Dignitas, of course, knows that, so they don't jump to the conclusion that just because Greymane is drafted, they don't have to think about Lunara anymore, since both of the heroes are played by the same player. So Dignitas is just saying that would be way too much in the combo for us to deal with.
And to further that point, if Dignitas decides after seeing what Fnatic picks up for the 3rd and 4th pick, they can run a solo Uther now because Lunara wouldn't stress out what Uther would have available. So a solid ban here for Dignitas. It leaves them a little bit on the flexible side. Fnatic thinking about their 3rd and 4th here. Would love to see, of course, what they want to run with the solo laner. You were mentioning it earlier. There are multiple options on this battleground. We've seen Malthael played in the past. Sonya always great here on the battleground. Even an Illidan mix-up could be good. Rhaegar, and there's that Leoric you were calling earlier.
There we go. I'm loving it. Leoric taken, and we have Rhaegar now that Uther is already taken away. I want to highlight real quickly about the hero pools. We have seen actually a lot of these teams narrowing their hero pool a little bit, especially when we are looking at phase 1. A lot of the teams had insane hero pools, where some of the players were playing 20 or more heroes.
Snitch.
And they just, most of them started to narrow it a bit because they said, hey, we need to specialize on a few of those. So they still have overlap, but the overlap is not that big anymore. And this is, again, something that you can take for your own plays at home, especially if you're playing in an amateur team. Focus on a very few selected heroes that you really master instead of trying to flex out too much. This is a common mistake that a lot of people make, that they're trying to play too many heroes and also way too many roles. So focusing on certain heroes that you really excel at can help you, especially if you're not a pro player and you can't put the same amount of time into your practice.
Yeah, I mean, just playing the same hero and over gives you those moments where you find that small moment that could have been the difference between a life and death, right? Like, if you play Dahaka, if you drag, most people wouldn't know if you don't play Dahaka a lot, that if you drag, you can't burrow until that drag finishes off.
It's not even about hitting your skills alone, it's just positioning. Just getting the experience with positioning, where with a certain role you have to position yourself compared to other roles, or just simply heroes within the same role. That is absolutely huge. So again, if you want to take something away from for your own plays, if you can't really commit the same amount of time as a pro player to your Heroes of the Storm games, then focus on a few heroes that you really want to excel with, ideally within the same role. Of course, we all know if you're also playing a lot of Hero League, you should at least add one hero of another role to your repertoire so that you can also be a little bit more flexible in the draft, but your core heroes should still be only a few selected ones and then going on them.
Well, Dignitas has a lot of control here. Dahaka Drag, Uther Stun, ETC Power Slide, and by the way, it's Breeze not on ETC for this matchup. We're going to see JPL instead, which is kind of exciting. Fnatic on the right side here. What are they going to be finishing up to in their 5th pick? It looks like they're looking for a hero for Shwimpy.
Yeah, we have reverse day here. Gul'dan on the side of Fnatic and ETC on the side of Dignitas, so they are trading a little bit.
Makes me sad not to see Breeze on it, but makes me even more hyped to see JPL playing the ETC, playing the cow.
For me personally, Breeze's ETC is, again, I've been fanboying Breeze's ETC quite a bit since I think he's the best ETC player.
It's okay to fanboy, they're a boy band.
That's true. At the same time, the one thing that I will always remember about Breeze's ETC, that especially in 2016, he was very infamous for playing ETC, playing a stellar ETC, and always mishitting mosh pit. There were so many mosh pits that he hit in competitive games where he just randomly pressed the R button in the middle of nowhere and started dancing, that everybody was just like, what's going on with this kid? And several times he thought that a certain cooldown, Power Slide for example, was up, and then tried to cue that with his R. The problem is Power Slide was actually on cooldown, so he just started dancing in the middle of a team fight when there was no one really around them, and everyone was just like, dude, you serious? So he's kind of known for that.
Well,
this time we won't have to deal with it, but we are going to find out if JPL has similar problems.
Let's do it, man. Will we get a zoning mosh from JPL, or will he hit them? It's time to go into Infernal Shrines. Game number 3. We are tied up 1-1.
Our third game on Infernal Shrines, as we are seeing Dignitas to the left with Mine on Tassadar. JPL at that front line with ETC ready to rock. Vala played by Snitch. Zelia on the Haka for that offlane soak. And of course, we have once again on the main support, Bakery on Uther.
On the right side, in the red, Quacknix playing Greymane, Wubby on Leoric, Breeze playing Anubrex, Mexi on Rhaegar, and Shwimpy will be on Gul'dan.
Schwimpy on Gul'dan for now. We already saw some Gul'dan play earlier on by Mene, and he once again showed them how those Horrifies can wreck a team fight. Now Schwimpy has the opportunity to do the same thing. When it comes to Leoric, we have him with Block as a level 1 talent, so not going into Hopelessness to increase his Drain Hope range. Instead, we're having him with Block, which will help him on the solo lane quite a bit. And they have him currently sitting even in the mid lane. Also, of course, helps him later on against Valla in particular.
Yeah, going for that level 1 Drain Hope. On Leoric, a little bit hard to pull off against Dahaka if you do match up against him. And Dahaka does have one of the strongest auto attacks in the game, so Block not going to be too shabby against him. For landing right now, we have 3 in the top with Breeze, Quacknix, and Smexy attempting to put pressure on Azalea, while Gul'dan hangs out in the bottom and Leoric in the middle. But look for Dignitas to come in for rotations and flanks. JPL on that ETC is wanting to get early game fights.
I want to talk about something real quickly that we have seen from Breeze.
About
and we mentioned that in a lot of the games, but I feel with the pace that these games have right now, it makes a lot of sense. We're oftentimes talking about anchoring a team fight or just any kind of push. And let's wait for a moment, since Quacknix all of a sudden is in a lot of trouble here. Dances around and tries to rush away, but he is very likely to die. And as I say it, he is about to escape. Nice move by Schwimpy, making sure that nobody can follow up, and Quacknix barely gets out of there.
Yeah, using the jump into a slash, a second slash, and then finally jumping away from the fight. Wow.
So what I was about to say, though, you could see at the beginning that Fnatic went to the top lane with 3 heroes and they tried to put the pressure onto the tower, and you see that a lot. And oftentimes what happens is that if you look at any kind of amateur play game, or even if you just simply look at Hero League, that the opponent rotates in and all of a sudden 3 heroes die. So one of the things that you see constantly from these pro teams, and we mention it quite a bit, but I want to highlight it as we see Schwimpy fall victim to a rotation, is that most of the time these pro teams have the tank just sitting at the side where the rotation is going to come in and doesn't actually participate in the structure that is about to be destroyed. Since the argument is the tank doesn't do enough damage anyways, and if you sit at the side, you buy enough time for the rest of your team to move away once you identify that a rotation happens. You can slow them down with a stun, you yourself will be fine to move out. So just having the tank trying to protect the heroes that are pushing for a structure or for an objective when you expect a rotation is incredibly powerful. So if you are a tank player and you are trying to improve your own play, this is definitely something that you should pick up for your own play when you see that your team tries, for example, in the early game to snipe a structure.
Yeah, I mean, it's called anchoring. You're literally anchoring your team and giving them a beacon of safety. That is very important to pull off. So yeah, keep an eye out for those. Watch out for those tank plays, making sure that you have an alleyway for your team to escape from. Dignitas is going to have to find a way to push in this bottom lane, though, as they're moving in with the Punisher. Already open up the turrets, bringing 4 people actually down here in this bottom lane. They do have Dahaka that can rotate between lanes if need be, but they break down the turret wall pretty easily as Fnatic defends the Punisher.
It was definitely a really good early push that we saw from Dignitas. They get the wall, not much more than that, an early burst from Fnatic as they bait the Punisher over the wall and eliminate it. But overall, Dignitas now has the slight lead in experience. I like the aggression down here. Dignitas a little bit too confident going for the camp, but here comes Dahaka, and that's a 4 versus 4, and that was a great move by Dahaka, going in just in time. 1 kill against Rhaegar, and it looks as if Quacknix would fall as well. Yes, that's the case. Greymane is down, so a double kill. Good invade by Fnatic, but even better response by Dignitas.
That anchoring that you were talking about earlier was on full display there. JPL on the top side, seeing the gank coming in. You saw both Falla and Uther try to step back. Now, while Nubrak did hit the bro charge on Falla, Uther was able to back up, go back in, control the point, and they called in Dahaka. Again, another reason why watching for those flanks can always be great for your team. Team Dignitas takes that global and turns around the entire fight.
And now they have a level lead, even with Booby trying to soak 2 lanes thanks to the royal focus that he has. That is still becoming an issue here. So Dignitas with the early lead, and this is another map where oftentimes you see teams aiming for a bit of a snowball. The whole thought process is that in an ideal scenario, you hit the next talent once that the shrine activates on the map. So you will fight with a talent advantage over the next objective. So Dignitas would ideally try to be close to 10 when the next shrine activates, maybe at 9.5. If they can accomplish that, Fnatic is very likely to give up the fight for the shrine itself, since they know Dignitas will hit level 10 during the battle.
Keldor, we got to talk about the Dahaka and Leoric roles that are currently happening on this game right now, and how important it is for the double soak to be coming in. Why Royal Focus is very important for Fnatic. You are effectively giving your team 2 lanes of soak, which gets you closer towards that level 10, but also lets your 4-man group up so they can be safer. I know a lot of Leoric players are kind of wondering why you want to go for that double soak and not get trait value, but can you go ahead and let them know why it's so important to soak 2 lanes?
The trait value. Well, first of all, the 4-man, as you said, is extremely important. If you soak both of the lanes, then you can, with a 4-man, push a lot heavier. And if you have a hero like Leoric, you can usually outperform the wave clear of your opponent. So Team Dignitas would, for example, have to dedicate 2 heroes to those 2 lanes, whereas you have only 1, which gives your 4-man an advantage in a potential 4 versus 3, so they can push harder. And Leoric is one of the best heroes to accomplish that, since he always can move back safely. And as I say, Whoopi does not do that and dies up at the top. But that's actually where his trade starts kicking in. So he's willing to sacrifice his life for a lead. But the problem is if they lose Quadnix too, then they have to give that up most likely. So body blocks are happening. Snitch goes for the strafe and tries to take him down, but there's the escape. Whoopi is back to business and immediately attempts to turn around. Breeze still there. The level 10s have hit, and that's what Dignitas was aiming for all along.
Oh, they do find Breeze, and JPL goes on through, but he'll get caught on the other side. The Divine Shield to save him. Bakery backing up JPL. They'll be able to get out. The Heroics kick it into overdrive.
But this is exactly what I said earlier. Dignitas wants the 10 around the shrine, and that's what they just accomplished. So what Fnatic is attempting to do now is they are just pushing through the bot lane. So Leoric is going to do exactly what we just said. He's going to try and make sure that they're not missing out on any waves, meaning the waves, he wants to take them down before they are eliminated by their towers. And the rest of the team pushes heavily at the bot lane. They know that Dignitas is going to get that shrine, since Fnatic is able to hit 10, but it's so late that Dignitas is already about to hit the last few stacks. Snitch is keeping 1 minion alive just so that they can delay it a little bit longer.
Yep, this gives time for Dahaka to run to the bottom lane, start cleaning out the experience needed there, can start doing the double soak, and now they finish it off the moment Dahaka gets to the bottom. And now he can come back in if he needs to brush stock at any point. Fnatic bringing multiple mercs to the top lane. Breeze will go ahead and bait it over the wall, start to back on out, and a pretty textbook defense so far for the Punisher. Bakery stepping up a little bit on the aggressive side, willing to stun out if a new brick does come in, but Snitch needs to be a bit careful here. Breeze was wanting to come in as Wubby rotated for the fight. Yeah,
Whoopi with the rotations here again. He went also into the Lingering Apparition after the Royal Focus, so he can go really deep and look for that Entomb, which is exactly what he was trying to do there. And that forced Dignitas back as well. Dignitas doesn't want to fight, since they are still waiting for Mosh Pit and Divine Shield to come off cooldown. It's going to be the case soon, so they can fight again after that happens. But we also have Fnatic with all of their own cooldowns ready, and that's especially important when we're talking about Horrify again.
Now, with Wubby going to the top lane, Dahaka took the opportunity to push on the bottom side. Got pretty aggressively to the right, but this will open up Team Dignitas to move in for Mercenaries, and they do so on the left side, and they can more towards an evade, especially seeing that there was a few members on the top side of the map. It will take them a while to rotate down. Gonna go ahead and work on that experience and move towards the 13. I'm actually kind of watching Leoric right now. Wubby's having a bit of a hard time keeping up with this bottom side. He's being a bit on the careful side, finally using the Lingering Aberration to clear it out.
Yeah, also we still have the stacks being worked at on all sides here. None of these heroes have completed their quest talents just yet, but we have 26 stacks on Gul'dan for the Echo Corruption on level 1. And at the same time, now the 13 talent for Dignitas is coming closer. And I mean, keep in mind, this is the 3rd map that we are seeing right now. So at this point, this is again the lead. Whichever teams wins here only needs 1 more map to punch out a victory in the entire series. And Dignitas is steadily starting to pull ahead. And they once more are aiming for that advantage on the next shrine. So they are hoping to get 13 and denying it to Fnatic when the next shrine is being fought over. But with Fnatic now trying to get the experience thanks to cooldown, thanks to them also going for the camps, it's very likely that the next fight that we see over the objective is going to be one of the decisive ones in this game.
That it will be. And both teams are working on grabbing Mercenaries. With the Temple being on the top side, it will be in the middle or the bottom, 50% chance. And it does spawn on the bottom, so whatever team can get their Mercenaries to be the ones pushing in will get the addition of being able to push in for a fort. And Fnatic is hoping to really grab it here. They move in. They're looking at Zelia already. Curse Bullet comes out. He's going to burrow. But we also have Team Dignitas hoping to fight.
Tacita isn't here. Horrify has been used. They're trying to go for Vala, and Snitch is isolated. Here comes the Entomb hitting too. Whoopi with a good move. The Divine Shield is out, saving Vala, and we are seeing Fnatic move away. Cooldowns traded thus far. And we have 13, not just ready for Fnatic yet, but they are so close. And the Shrine is now activating. None of these teams making any moves for the Shrine just yet.
Well, forcing the fight in the top did give Fnatic a chance to get towards 13, which now means they are on equal footing moving into this Shrine phase, so they'll have a chance to actually fight around it, and they move in to grab control of it first.
Also, double Burning Rage now taken, which helps Leoric and Nubarak to put more pressure onto these minion stacks, which is what they're trying to do here. Fnatic with a massive lead, 20-0 already, looking strong here. But Dignitas, they still have Mosh Pit that they can use. We see Ancestral and Cursed Bullet on the side of Fnatic still available.
See how they come to the bottom side and they control the space there instead of on the bushes? They were afraid of Dahaka coming in. Now that Dahaka's used Brush Talk, they can step forward and start to siege a pawn. Xaylia comes on the right side. Cocoon will be used, but so will the Entomb.
The Entomb was actually really well done to protect Quacknix here as they were trying to go in. And they're just poking, 13 against 21, but Dignitas has the control over the Shrine. Here comes the Jack against Leoric. Mosh Pit interrupted immediately, and this is the moment to fight right now. Tassadar using the Dimensional Shift to get away. Snitch is low. Leoric also escaping. Horrify comes in again. Fnatic grabs the Punisher, but Snitch pops strafe.
Yes, he does, and they'll get a kill on Leoric, but Leoric turning around here will be able to come back soon. Bakery is the next target. Breeze blocking him on the left side. He's going to heal and working some auto attacks. Xaylia using the drag to buy a way for him to escape.
Ancestral coming through, saving Breeze barely, but that Punisher is on the move, and we are talking Arcane Punisher here. Fnatic gaining some momentum. Leorigo, of course, is still lurking around, and they are already starting to split on the lane since Dahaka is attempting to move to the top lane to push in the fort and soak more experience. But explosive fight down there at the Shrine. But so far, in this game, Fnatic hasn't even gotten a kill.
They got the better trade-off, though, on the layered aggression, and granted they didn't get the kill, but they were able to grab the Punisher, and they've opened up the map quite well. Dignitas, aware that they can defend the keep, putting Dahaka in the top so he can deal with it. But hang on here, Dahaka came to the bottom as well to keep up with the soaking. So they are still ahead in experience, and they are moving towards level 16.
Yeah, so they have the experience lead here for sure. They actually did a really good job at soaking XP overall. And of course, Dignitas, they want to have that extra talent once again, and Fnatic always playing from behind in this game. Now, the last fight already showed that they have definitely a couple of really impressive tools here. What I really liked was the Entomb of Leoric to save Greymane. Once that he saw the Force Wall coming in, he immediately just said, okay, they want to jump on Greymane. You could see them starting to move in, and then Leoric shuts everyone out, protects Greymane with it, and they can still poke from the distance. Gul'dan did a lot, and once that he had his Horrify up again, that was the most important part. But Fnatic don't get these kills yet, and that's a bit of a problem for them.
The problem really is shown in the experience lead here. The small amount of kills keeping a full level 4 Dignitas. They're not quite 16 here, so need to be careful. Wellby's on the backside, willing to come in if need be, but Fnatic will pull away thanks to the Horrify being utilized. But that Horrify being down will come into play on the next Shrine phase. Hang on though, it might come into play here as Quacknix taking damage is forcing Smexy to use Cleanse.
The Force Walls here, I am loving them. Smexy using Cleanse, but still holding the Ancestral back, and that's important. So this is one of the cool things about how he plays the hero. He really waits until the last moment before he uses his heroic ability.
The wall, though, will need help here, as Fnatic has to play safe, hanging on the side. JPL on the front line as everyone from Dignitas is working on clearing out these turrets. Wubby did go to the top there, still helping out but his teammates in that point, but Dahaka using Brush Talker and heading bottom. Yeah,
it's the old story here again. You wait for 16 ideally. A lot of the, basically all of the quest talents on level 1 have already been completed without exception here. So right now we're seeing Xaylia with another camp, but it's Shrine time again. And this is 16 versus 16 that we are talking, just a few seconds. Fnatic, when it comes to talents of course, Fnatic is going to hit the level soon. Dignitas is still a level ahead with 17. But this offers us another big fight on even talents where any of these teams can get a lead. And with the 16 talents now in play, Fnatic has a couple of very cool tools for them. Especially, of course, when we're talking about Greymane's damage output again.
And Horrify just came online too, so all heroics will be available for Fnatic and Team Dignitas. They move up to the top side once again, clearing out these mercenary camps. Don't want to deal with the fort being taken out. Hoping to get it pushing themselves. Dahaka and Leoric on the outskirts of the map though, working on the middle and the bottom side, as finally the Shrine will be activated.
Dahaka is still at the bot lane, and the rest of Fnatic is starting to rotate in now as well. But Dignitas takes the lead in the minion stacks. Swoopy looking for an angle, and Quark is just poking away. He completed his level 7 cocktail talent, so he has a lot of damage on it and can go for serious poke. We have already been
Xaylia
waiting for Xaylia, and Xaylia is moving in at the side, trying to go in and see if he can maybe go for Breeze.
Breeze low, does get out with the burrow charge, still low on health. Strafe almost getting him there, but Rhaegar comes in with the heal. Xaylia and crew, though, do establish dominance on the Shrine. They are up 30-12, and Fnatic, they decide that it's not worth it. They pull away.
Yeah, exactly. Even Rhaegar not using the Ancestral and on Breeze here. First of all, when Breeze was nearly dying, Rhaegar was not close enough. So when he was finally there, he realized that with a simple heal, he could keep Breeze alive, and then the only question was, do we give this up or do we go in? The decision was made to give it up, so he never really committed his Ancestral since he knew they could move back anyways to tap the Fountain or even go to Nexus. But now they have to deal with a Punisher push, and this is exactly where Dignitas is trying to go for the keep.
Punisher right in front of the keep here. Wubby goes around the force wall, staying alive. The keep taking damage, but the Punisher at the same time down at half health. JPL in the front, gonna have to be careful here as Breeze drops a Cocoon, willing to turn this into a 5v4, but the idea is to focus the Punisher.
Yeah, push the opponent backwards and then go for the Punisher on the way out. And that's what they're attempting to do here. Punisher goes down, but so does the keep. Can they force a fight still? Cocoon is down, but so is Strafe. Grape JPL on the run, and here comes the Entomb. They're trying to go for it, see if they can maybe get a kill, but it doesn't look likely, especially with Bakery still holding back Divine Shield.
But the epicenter here from Breeze is 3 members. We're going to have the Horrify coming out. Divine Shield to nullify it. Bakery turns around. They're stunning out Wubby. Wubby backing up. Breeze same time being dragged into the fight. He gets away with the Ancestor healing.
Ancestral this time being popped. Could have moved out of even without a big cooldown committed here on the backside of the fight, and Dignitas is closing in on 20. They're getting so close to the Storm Talon, and Fnatic is now 2 levels behind. And this in particular shows what a massive impact the Haka currently has in this game.
Xaylia.
The side soak of Xaylia is absolutely insane, and Dignitas is playing a beautiful game here.
Also the enhanced agility at level 1 being shown off there, dodging off on Breeze's attempts to engage him with the Impale, missing out, so Xaylia does escape, and 20 is right around the corner. Fnatic taking the last few seconds they have here to clear out the mercenary camps that were grabbed by Dignitas and also to grab the experience, but they're gonna have to back up and play safe soon.
Yeah, at this point, Fnatic is definitely in trouble. Losing the keep in the mid lane already, lacking 2 levels onto your opponent, and Dignitas about to pick up level 20s. It's getting rough. Fnatic has still not killed a single hero. With Horrifying everything that they have in their arsenal, they have not taken down a single hero yet. Dignitas has 6 kills under their belt, and they are playing a very, very coordinated game. And especially the macro moves that they make with Xaylia, with all the extra XP that they are currently holding, that's definitely, it's super noteworthy because it has such a huge impact on the situation that we are seeing right now, with Dignitas picking 20 and Fnatic very likely to give up the Shrine here.
Yeah, we're going to have to hope to defend that they can here on the bottom side. This keep being exposed is quite difficult for them to defend. They're going to go ahead and move to the top and at least grab experience through structures.
I mean, look at the map. We have every single fort eliminated on Fnatic's side. They keep taken down. And Fnatic just now takes the second fort of Dignitas. 17, 18 minutes into the game. They barely get the second fort, and of course that's where also a lot of the experience comes from. It's 2 aspects, Xaylia and ST Haka play, and the amount of structures that have been eliminated.
Fnatic making the move here for the keep in the top left. They know this is available because they saw Vala in the bottom right corner, which is the main DPS for Dignitas. The moment she disappears from the map, though, they have to back away. Leave Wubby to get a couple more hits of damage on there, but he should be able to escape thanks to his Wraith Walk. Dignitas has taken this time to continue working on the Shrine. It's at 34-0, but Fnatic has bought room for themselves to move towards 20. They're at 19.5 experience.
Dignitas was actually really late on that rotation. That nearly cost them a keep, not quite. The question just is, are we going to see 20 for Fnatic for the defense? Because that's what they really need, and it's a problem. Dignitas does, I mean, they want the keep, but ideally they would end the game now. And that is definitely a thought process that they have at this point. Here's the bait already, the wall is still intact, so that helps. Vala is trailing behind a little bit. Looks very unlikely that Dignitas can end the game unless they are forcing a big fight, maybe through a mosh pit now. And they're trying to do that. Cleanse helping out Quacknix, but he's still low. He needs the Ancestral, and he gets it.
There it is. Same time, JPL moving forward, gets the Divine Shield into the mosh pit. They will get rid of Gul'dan. Bakery on the front line, looking for another stun. He hits it on Wubby. Breeze trying to desperately get away from the fight.
And now with the kill, Dignitas has a chance to go for the core, and they will. The beginning of the defense looked strong, but now Fnatic, they are in a lot of trouble. Without Gul'dan and the poke, this is nearly impossible, and Dignitas is going for the core drop. drops it down to 90 to 80, tries to go for it. Fnatic, of course, trying to fight, attempting to go for Vala here. Snitch is low, and he goes down. It's the kill they need, but is it enough? We have Whoopi also losing hit points, and Fnatic barely holds on to the game for now.
Yes, they do. Wubby staying alive too, sidestepping the JPL power slide, Breeze on the backside, dropping the Impale. Quacknix to chase it.
Leoric has Entomb again in just a few seconds. 6 seconds for the Entomb. Breeze is still alive, might fall here, trying to get out, but stunned into oblivion. Bakery about to fall. Whoopi still fighting, trying to move away, and oh my god, just stays a second long. Kills Uther, but redemption is still a thing. We have Gul'dan back. Gul'dan is back. Whoopi might fall, but he will be back soon, and Gul'dan is now coming into play. But we have Fnatic pulling off the defense, at least for now.
And they want to keep Team Dignitas here. Look in the top left. There's a big minion wave that's been stacking up this entire duration. If they can keep Dignitas here, they might not be able to clear, even with Vol spawning in the next 10 seconds. So maybe they can get enough damage on top of that keep. Never mind, Dahaka goes back and he cleans it up. But Fnatic, they hold. They have defended.
Yeah, after Gul'dan died, that was scary.
Yeah.
Not before I was actually absolutely on Fnatic's defense. I was sold on it. They baited the Punisher early. Vala wasn't there yet, so they really burst it down super quickly. But then it's all of a sudden Gul'dan who gets exposed, who is absolutely just way too far out and out of position when everybody else got pushed back, since Greymane in particular was focused for a long time. Gul'dan falling, I thought it was lights out, but Fnatic, they actually hold on to the game and allow themselves another fight. They have lost 2 keeps. They are way behind.
A great defense, but yes, you have to remember, there are still 2 keeps down. Dignitas is still well within the lead, especially because they didn't lose a keep in the top left corner. So Dignitas are going to make moves here to pressure the top side, and here's what they can do. With 2 Merc camps, they can leave Dahaka on the top. If he doesn't get caught out, they can dance around the shrine face, and Fnatic will have to think about clearing out that entire minion wave, because losing 3 keeps could be deadly.
Yeah, they have on the other hand now mercenaries in the bot and the mid lane, so that is going to help them a little bit. And Fnatic, they realized we have to win a fight eventually. 9 kills against 2. The double camp at the top lane is going to take the keep down, but Fnatic's thought process here is really take the Punisher and try and win the game with it. And it's not going to be easy by any means, but they have a shot here. The problem is that this is the lane where they still have 2 forts, or where they have to go through 2 structures to go through.
Ooh, Entomb comes out trying to catch JPL and Snitch. They're barely getting missed out on. Breeze on the bottom side taking damage from Snitch. The lead is in favor of Fnatic and the mini control 23 to 12. But with the Horrify coming out, Zelia is looking for a drag.
Demonic Circle has also already been used. Divine Shield on ETC. The mosh pit got interrupted though. Quacknix is low. The Force Wall absolutely perfect. And Quacknix again trying to rush away, but Mena is ready with a second, and that's the one that they needed. He goes down. Whoopi tries to get a kill against Tassadar. That doesn't work. Punisher is won by Fnatic, but with Leoric falling, this is just gonna get worse. They are rushing away, trying to defend. They have lost the keep up at the top lane. Breeze is attempting to help Smexy, but that doesn't matter. The Wolf is down, and Punisher, no Punisher, with only 2 heroes alive. Dignitas is on their way to victory.
And they keep falling in the top right corner with the mercenaries pushing in, are breaking through the core armor already, and they are getting the core lower and lower. Schwimpy, the last line of defense for Fnatic, and it's looking nigh here as everyone from Dignitas does chase in. They grab the core, they get it low, down to 20, down to 15, down to 10. That's going to be it here as Fnatic falls to Dignitas, and they move up 2-1.
Dignitas with another great victory here in a really cool game that we saw, with Fnatic just struggling to find kills.
Yeah.
A lot of good fights, a lot of good moments, but just no kills on the side of Fnatic, except for the defense that we saw. And Tassadar's level 20, those force walls that we saw from Mena, they were absolutely fantastic, providing them with one kill opportunity after another.
Eventually they found a breaking point, were able to get that Greymane kill. And for the most part, Fnatic was handling the force walls pretty well. Greymane was always on the front side. Obviously he was the target, but we had Smexy on the back side, bringing out the heals, constantly threatening, okay, I can use an ancestral healing if you go for the engage. But eventually finding that breaking point, Mena and crew killing off Quacknix just sealed the deal for the team, and they chased well enough to kill the rest of Fnatic.
Yeah, Dignitas is just playing extremely well today.
Yes.
They had a fantastic game on 2 on the Spider Queen. The last map was also extremely solid. Curse Solo, that was where Fnatic was shining a lot more, since their strategy just came through. But so far, Dignitas is definitely, I mean, the reputation that they had here when we talked about the European teams and what they think is that even with Dignitas not making it to the Western Clash, they were still one of the favorite teams to not only make it to BlizzCon, but also to rival Fnatic, and they're proving it today.
And start to think about it here. Fnatic, if they lose to Dignitas here, Dignitas goes up, Fnatic falls down a little bit of a peg here. And suddenly they're within one game of the other teams that are in the top 4, which is absolutely bonkers to think about here. Granted, we have to go through the entire best of 5, but that is something that is lingering probably in Fnatic's head here. Let's go ahead and check out a couple of our players that played in that matchup, as we have, of course, Mane against Schwimpy.
That's a really interesting one as well. Both of them with extreme low deaths here, only 0.9 and 0.7 per game. But Schwimpy absolutely excelling here. The KDA ratio is out of this world with 11-7.
Pretty darn crazy. Siege damage going a little bit more over to Mane here, as he's usually picking up the mages that are helping out with the wave clear, but still, both these players, you can look at these numbers and say, wow, they are phenomenal.
Schwimpy's numbers are just insane.
Yes, they are.
I mean, that's just stupid good.
Nearly 95% kill participation with his team, always setting them up there. And when you think about it, all the heroes that he's on, he's always there to show up and finally give that killing blow.
Yeah, man, this is still impressing me. I did not expect such a huge gap between the two of them here. And yeah, Schwimpy absolutely putting the numbers on the board. But they still lost.
Game 4 time. Let's do it right here, as we currently have Dignitas ahead 2-1. Will Fnatic tie it up? We are going to BOE. Fnatic goes for the first pick, Dignitas picking the battleground.
Yeah, Battlefield of Eternity, so we can expect quite a few fights there. Vala should be prioritized with the arrow build. Greymane probably as well, trying to get some additional value against the Immortal, of course. But yeah, we have the fight on our hands that we've been waiting for between the two teams. I'm extremely happy about it.
Yeah.
Since the last time they faced off against each other, as we pointed out already, it was a 3-0 sweep in favor of Fnatic. And you know, you pointed out a little bit earlier that the standings, of course, would also be highly affected if Dignitas wins the series. And this is where I want to come down to the map scores again. We've been talking about it, but this is a perfect example why they would matter. Because when we're looking at the teams and which team takes the better position in the standings, if they are even on matches 1, then the next point we are looking towards is over the entire phase, part 1 plus part 2, the score against each other. And we're not looking at the map score against each other, we're looking just at wins. And in the last part of the phase, we had Fnatic with a victory. It was a 3-0. So if Dignitas claims it here, it would be a 1-1, which means that they are even, and we would go to the map score directly as the next criterion. And therefore, map